Let me spell this out for every politician hiding behind a podium, every billionaire pretending innocence, every judge pretending neutrality, every agency pretending competence. If these outlaws, Trump, Elon, Thiel, and the rest of the unreleased names are not indicted, investigated, and sentenced, then Donald Trump didn't just break America. He accidentally inaugurated a new era, the era of outlaw America, because that's what happens when you create a nation where the elite commit crimes worse than nightmares and walk away untouched, while regular people rot in cages for decades over scraps. You don't get law and order after that. You get voyeurism, cynicism, anarchism, and a total collapse of legitimacy. And no, this is not a threat. This is not a wish. This is a warning, the kind history always tried to give before collapse. When justice becomes a performance instead of a principle, the public stops participating. When the average citizen sees a two-tiered justice system so blatant, it might as well be carved into the capital steps. What do you think happens next? Do you think people continue respecting laws that don't apply to their rulers? Do you think prosecutors can keep throwing people away, while the powerful commit murder, trafficking, and treason on private jets? Do you think Americans, already exhausted, overworked, underpaid, are going to keep marching politely into prisons, while billionaires laugh from yachts? Absolutely not. You cannot have a civilized society when the ruling class is allowed to be uncivilized. Period. And this government, Congress, DOJ, SCOTUS, needs to hear this without their usual delusion. The public is at a breaking point, and you can only shoot so many people before you are outnumbered by the sheer mass of humanity that inhabits this land. We have 330 million people. They have maybe 500 elites protected by the state. Do the math. If law only applies to the bottom, it stops being law. It becomes oppression. And oppressed people do not stay compliant forever. Congress, listen carefully. If you do not indict every person implicated, if you do not drag these outlaws into court, if you do not prove that law applies upward as well as downward, then there is no point to Congress. There is no point to separation of powers. There is no point to governance. Because governance only exists when the governed agree that the system is legitimate. Right now, that legitimacy is hanging by a thread thinner than dental floss. And if you refuse accountability, then you are openly admitting that we are ruled, not represented, that we are subjects, not citizens, that there is a protected caste living above the law, a caste that commits atrocities and gets book deals, a caste that traffics children and gets security details, a caste that appears in sworn testimony and gets invited to galas. And SCOTUS, completely compromised. 2 people on that bench appear in these files. 2. So tell me, how is the public supposed to respect rulings from a court that can't even keep its own hands clean? How is the court supposed to handle the tsunami of appeals that will follow once every defense lawyer in this country argues? If the elite offenders walk free, why should my client be in prison? They can't. They won't. They never thought this far. You think there's a backlog now? Wait until every inmate with a functioning brain files an equal protection appeal citing this non-prosecution. They are not saving the system. They are burning it down with their cowardice. And the terrifying part? I'm not even sure they see it. I'm not even sure they're thinking at all. This isn't chaos anyone is wishing for. This is the chaos they are creating. If they want law and order, then they must obey the law. If they want stability, then they must enforce justice. If they want the public's cooperation, then they must stop treating the public like expendable peasants beneath an untouchable aristocracy. Because if the outlaws on top walk free, then the era of American law is over, and they will be the ones who ended it, not us.